Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is December the 22nd, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. I dare say very good. And we'll get to that. We'll get to why I'm feeling so good in a second. But hopefully, yeah, you're doing great and awesome. Yeah, so let's see here. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, this is a bit of a wine episode. Maybe I dare say drunk episode. Maybe a little bit more off my game than usual. Sorry about it, but hey, that is the organic blog style of this, where you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, apparently the host is just gonna be even more on one than usual. But AKA it's just gonna be sloppier. But hopefully you're good. Hopefully you're in a cheery, merry mood. I am officially on vacation for a few days, so I'll take it. Yay! Happy holidays! Happy holidays! Let's see. Work was good. I will say we had to march through it. It was hard. And god damn it, at the end I was tempted to go home early. My supervisor was like, "Hey, Isaiah, you want to go home? You want to get out of here?" And I was just like, no, I'll stay. I'll ride out the extra hour. And, because I got to make my fucking money. Longtime listeners know. Look, this is not a professional stream, obviously. Professional stream, my bad. Podcast, whatever. I gotta do a blue collar thing. You feel me? But yeah, overall, it was a good day. It's been a good week. I am happy to have this moment here and now with everyone. And yeah. Um, I'm so sorry. This episode is not going as I had planned. It was just supposed to be a little, of course it's a Friday. Happy Friday to you, So I'm happy to be in a good mood, but I just didn't expect to be in this good of a mood. I went from like melancholic a little bit because I don't know, life is strange. Friendships are weird and interesting. Um, but I'm good now. I think we're good now. I think the spirits have kicked in. All right. Let me do my startup. Let me make this worse, and then we will get into some news. There we go. We'll get back to terra firma. Oh gosh. Ooh wee. All right. So our first article is from the BBC News. Paraguay jail. Fighting cockerels seized in deadly raid. I gotta say, the headline here, don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, cockfighting, that's crazy. Woo, headline stuff, BBC. But, really, the big story here is the fact that it is the Takumbu, I believe, is the jail. But, like, it's bigger news to me that there was this whole prison being run by the prisoners, and, it took not just, one instance, whatever. I'm trying to find the words here. But it took literally 2 months to take this prison back from the prisoners. But yeah, they wanted to focus on the fighting cocks, but whatever. Okay. 11 inmates and a police officer were killed in a standoff between inmates and security forces at a jail in Paraguay on Monday. Prisoners opened fire on police as they entered the jail in the capital Asyun to transfer a notorious drug lord, Armando Javier Rotella. Police said Rotella controlled a part of the jail dubbed the Jungle, where he ran a small supermarket. Now, maybe if, once again, referencing the long-time listeners, maybe you might feel like, oh, this kind of sounds familiar. Update? No, that's what I was thinking. I was like, yo, I feel like I've covered this before. But what I was thinking of is what we talked about around September, which was the Tocoron prison in Venezuela. That was the prison that had the zoo, the pool. Family was living with the prisoners. The prisoners were running the whole fucking situation. They, finally the Venezuelan, politicians and stuff, they said, okay, we got to stop this shit. They came through and they wound up like pushing out, more or less the people who were in power in that situation. They either escaped or were apprehended. They got control of the prison. So this is very similar. I was like, wow, that's kind of uncanny. But Police Commissioner Namio Cardozo said Rotella, who leads the criminal clan of the same name, lived in comfort in the jungle with his pregnant wife, his dog, and his cockerels. I hope I'm saying that right. I feel like it is cockerels, which is once again just fighting cocks. Mr. Cardozo told journalists that it had taken 2,500 soldiers and police officers to regain control of Takumbu Penitentiary. He said that one policeman had died from a bullet wound to the head and another was seriously injured. Dozens more inmates and security personnel were also wounded in a gunfight. In the gunfight, which is really crazy. Just that, like, how armed the prisoners were in this situation. I mean, you would think like, oh, okay, like I'm thinking in like an American prison, like yeah, you're gonna go through, have to worry about like shanks and things like that, but whole ass fucking guns. That's crazy how entrenched they were in the situation. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's wild that the situation had gotten to this point where more or less the prisoners in this section of the prison had so much power and control. But I can also understand that because you kind of just wind up saying, hey, we have these people corralled in this area. It's still prison. Like, I know that sometimes people can go, oh, I mean, they're not serving any time. Da 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 da. They have all these amenities and all this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, dude, those are creature comforts. But at the end of the day, you are still a prisoner in prison. That still is that. So, yeah, I mean, but still crazy that they had so much power that they could get guns, they could get drugs, all kinds of shit in this prison, and more or less were just doing what they wanted. So yeah, in October, more than 20 prison guards were held hostage by the inmates, who demanded that the government drop its plans to transfer members of the Rotella clan. So essentially, they had tried in October to kind of say, hey, we're going to try to break this up. And they said, fuck you mean? You're going to try to break what up? No way. And this really just more or less highlighted the problem. And then President Sebastian Pina, who was sworn into office in August, has promised to break up the group. The Justice Ministry said inmates who had been removed from the overcrowded penitentiary would be dispersed to jails across the country. Security analysts have expressed concern that the move may just spread the power of the Rotella clan rather than weaken it. But I would say, like, what are you gonna do? Like, if you have decided now, okay, the problem has gotten too bad, we need to, interject, we need to regain control. Okay, like, I mean, obviously that is what's gonna have to happen, and yeah, you're probably right. You're not gonna stop this gang. It doesn't eradicate it. It's just going to spread it. But I mean, hey, at least you have control of the zone, right? But let's see here. Let's talk a little bit more about Rotella. First detained for cattle raiding in 2000, he has also been convicted of robbery before becoming known as Paraguay's crack czar. I love when we just call people czars. Just like, hey, you're a gas czar, you're a candy czar, you're a crack czar. I like that. For his control of the illegal drugs market. He was arrested in 2011. Police found large quantities of cash submerged in plastic bags and a pond on his property. He managed to escape from prison in the following year and was on the run until 2016 when he was rearrested. So yeah, then they reference the Tocoron prison in Venezuela. So yeah, I was like, wow, that's two prisons like this that we're covering in the same year. I found that interesting. But let's go ahead and hop skip to Seattle, even though weirdly we're still keeping it Texas. I've been talking about Texas a lot this month, and unfortunately I've been talking a lot about fucking Ken Paxton. And like, I enjoyed talking about Ken Paxton in terms of like when I thought, hey, I'm glad that Texas has finally like come to their senses and they're gonna like find this guy in some kind of contempt or something, and then he just fucking skated through that shit like he was like Michelle Kwan. Didn't matter. Untouchable apparently. And now we're seeing this guy back to his old fucking habits, his old fucking tricks. And yeah, when he's not trying to, you know, I don't know, put people who are having abortions like lined up on fucking executions. I know I'm being fucking hyperbolic, but I mean, this guy's a piece of shit. He is trying to just ruin the lives of any kind of trans person he can find, just for political points. So let's get into that. From Axios. Seattle Hospital. Why do I feel like I said Seattle wrong? I didn't. Seattle Hospital sues Texas AG over demands for details on trans minors. I do love that Axios just uses just a picture of him looking like he's having a stroke. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has made sham requests seeking to force Seattle's Children's Hospital to provide details of Texas residents who've received gender-affirming care, alleges a lawsuit from the nonprofit healthcare provider. Seattle's Children's Hospital said in its lawsuit that Paxton's office claimed it was investigating potential violations of the Texas's ban on gender-affirming care for minors, but Washington's recently passed SHIELD law protected it from subpoenas from states seeking to restrict or criminalize reproductive gender-affirming care. Now, I believe that Ken Paxton is trying to use... Let's see if I can find it. It's not a big article. Here we go. Paxton's office stated on November 17th it was investigating the hospital for misrepresentations and potential violations of the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices and gave it until December 7th to respond, according to court filings dated on December 7th that were reported by Austin's KXAN TV this week. So yeah, I mean, essentially, Ken Paxton is very relentless in this pursuit. He's very dogged, where he is like, I'm going to go anywhere and everywhere for Texas and what I feel is like what Texas wants, you know, which is, once again, to put the kibosh on things like abortion, put the kibosh on things like people having, you know, gender-affirming care, any kind of trans rights. Like, hey, I am against that. I am putting my shit against it. That is Ken Paxton to a fucking T. He became like a big Trump like lapdog in a way, just because he was just so good at doing this kind of shit that he got Trump's attention. And he's like, Trump's like, I like that guy. He's my guy. So yeah, I mean, I hope that this doesn't work. I hope that Ken Paxton fails in this fucking pursuit, because it does seem very fucking illegal. Even without the SHIELD law, I would think that it's like, yo, you're trying to find out someone's like, you know, medical records, medical history. That should just be protected as is. I feel like Washington shouldn't have to go out of their fucking way for that. But glad that they did. Thank God. And yeah, like I said, I hope that this is just another stunt from, you know, another fucking political figure in Texas. You know what I mean? I know, like I said, I've been talking about Texas a lot, from fucking Greg Abbott to Ken Paxton. Boo! Tomato Town, Tomato Town, Tomato Town. All those motherfuckers. But yeah, just wanted to go ahead and get that coverage up there. Let's move on to the next beat. From the Business Insider. Japanese prosecutors have demanded a controversial streamer pays a fine after he played music in a restaurant. Now, that sounds very innocuous, but if you're familiar with this podcast, you're familiar with some of our coverage, or if you're just familiar with, the internet, if you're an online degenerate like my fucking self, you've heard of Johnny Somali and his fucking shitbag, dirtbag antics. We're going to talk about a little bit about him. Again, a controversial streamer is facing criminal charges in Japan after causing a scene in a restaurant where prosecutors demanding he pay a fine. Ismail Ramsey Khalid, known better by his alias Johnny Somali, appeared at Osaka District Court on Tuesday, the Japan Times reported, where he was accused of loudly playing music in a restaurant and bothering other customers while streaming on Kick. If you're not familiar with Kick, Kick is akin to like a live stream YouTube situation or like a Twitch TV. They initially kind of came out being like, yeah, no rules, you can do whatever you want, whatever. I guess also like Rumble. I've mentioned Rumble before on here. Rumble, same thing, just that's like you can do whatever you want, free speech, da 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 da. Jordan Peterson can stream on here right now if he wanted to. You get the vibe. But anyway, Johnny Somali has just been a fucking public menace. But prosecutors accused him of obstructing the business of the restaurant and that he did so for attention, according to the outlet. They also told the court that there was no room for leniency. In response, Khalid, who is 24, expressed regret in a 1 minute when a 1 minute clip of his video was played in court. It was essentially just him just being a huge asshole. And for him, his defense was like, oh, the music that was playing, I didn't mean for that to happen. It just played automatically, which I'm sorry. For me, I'm saying that's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that. He has done this shit before where he's like run through like a public area, like playing like atomic bomb music or whatever the fuck. Like just being an asshole. He went to a fucking, like construction site talking about Fukushima. He's been on subways talking to motherfuckers about public or is this subway or whatever the metro transit system is there, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm in the fucking weeds, but talking about like Pearl Harbor and shit to like people, and they're like, what are you talking about? And it's like people have like come up to this motherfucker and chin checked this motherfucker, like been like, yo, you're gonna come up and apologize to all of Japan right the fuck now. And like, he's been hassled in the streets about this shit. Now he's being hassled, obviously by the Japan government. I think he's been fined, let me go ahead and read that. Prosecutors asked for his punishment to be 200,000 yen or $1,400, and the trial was concluded. Now, he says that, I'll just go ahead and read his quote. "I'm sorry," he said. "I promise I will never take videos again." I don't fucking believe that either. I do wonder, though, if maybe this is just one of those things where they're, like, kind of trying to do the markers and just, like, hey, we're going to fine you, we're going to charge you, and, like, I don't know, maybe he just winds up getting fucking deported or something, booted, whatever. I don't know. Hopefully he's done, though. I would love for Johnny Somali just to be done. I'm not a fan of his fucking content. That's not really for me. That's not my fucking bag. But, at least, at the very fucking least, I hope he just leaves. I hope he's just done. And I hope this style of content creation is just dead. Like, look, I get it. You want to fucking get out there. You want to fucking be seen. You want to fucking get views. But you don't need to be bad. You don't need to be a fucking toxic ass fucking entity to, like, be, like, relevant. You could just... And if being relevant to you is like, if you have to take that shortcut, then just don't do it, man. Like, I don't get it. It's just so gross. Because that's just so fleeting to me. Like, yeah, you might have a good year. You might have good stats for that year, but you can't maintain that shit. Eventually, you will literally become a menace to society. Like, that's crazy to me, man. But yeah, I mean, he's not the only one. Like I said, just speaking back to that episode, I know we had covered a guy who was like literally jumping trains. Let's see. Yeah. Phidias Panayitotou. I'm getting his name fucked up. But him and like he had like a group of him and his friends were like doing a thing where they were just like illegally getting on buses and like dude, what are you doing? Like, this isn't good content. But also the thing with kids in Japan, they were going into restaurants, like sushi restaurants, and like licking sushi, licking like the soy sauce bottles and shit like that. Like, don't do that. Like, cool, man. You get your 15 seconds of fame, and like now you're literally a public health gross disaster. Like, it's just not worth it, man. Just do better. Be better. By all means, just be a cringe content creator like myself. Get your couple of views, get your couple of listens, and call it a life. That's me. That's my vibe. Okay, I'm not trying to fucking go to a place I should not be and be a terror to people. I like to be liked. It's nice. It's nice to be cool and good to other people, and for people to be cool and good to you. I enjoy that experience in life. You know what I mean? Anyway, we have one more thing to cover. Let me drink some water first. I am parched. My water to alcohol ratio is garbage. Thank God for water. Thank God for H2O. Okie dokie. Okie dokie artichoke. You know what that means? I took my water break. Now I'm going to take the rest of my break. And then we're going to do our last thing. Our last bit of news. Ooh. Ooh wee. All right. Our last ooh. Our last story comes from the Huffington Post or HuffPost. By ooh, the visions. Um, Biden pardons thousands of convicted marijuana charges on federal lands. DC. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now, are we fucking with Biden? No. It's still boo Biden. It's still boo Biden. We're still calling you fucking genocidal Joe. I'm sorry. That shit is not gonna fucking dodge you, dog. Like, nah, you done said what you said, you done did what you did, and you're still doing it. But that being said, we will talk about the Joe Biden dubs, okay? I'm not gonna stop doing that. I'm sorry. This liberal arc is still going to continue. Plus, it's just good news. I mean, look at where you're at. Listen, read the room. Of course, I'm going to talk about this shit. Okay. Anyway, President Joe Biden is making thousands of people who were convicted of use and simple possession of marijuana on federal lands and in the District of Columbia eligible for pardons, the White House said Friday. In his latest round of executive clemencies meant to rectify racial disparities in the justice system. The categorical pardon Friday builds on a similar round issued just before the 2022 midterm elections that made thousands convicted of simple possession on federal lands eligible for pardons. There's a burp's gonna come. Friday's actions add additional criminal offenses to those eligible for a pardon, making even more people eligible to have their convictions expunged. Biden is also granting clemency to 11 people serving what the White House called disproportionately long sentences for non-violent drug offenses. So yes, this is good news. We love to see it. Especially, we've already been talking on the heels of Ohio legalizing weed, marijuana, I should say, whatever. I don't fucking care. It's on the books now. We're good, at least in the state, and we love to see it. Clap it up. And it's good that, let's go ahead and read from Biden. Criminal records for marijuana use and possession have imposed needless barriers to employment, housing, and educational opportunities, Biden said. Too many lives have been upended because of our failed approach to marijuana. It's time that we right these wrongs. And you know what? I'll say this shit because we've already looked beyond the curtain. We know that fucking Joe is not progressive. He's not that fucking guy. We know he is just like a salt of the earth, Irish Catholic. He doesn't like weed. He's not for that shit. He's old as fuck. He's not cool. So at the end of the day, this is big for him. Like every time he does this shit, he knows that it's like, hey man, hey Jack, I know for me this is a lot of malarkey, but I'm gonna let it happen. Yeah, I know my Obama and Biden have now fused, and fuck it, whatever. But look, at the end of the day, this is good news. I will add this caveat though: no one was freed from prison under last year's actions, but but the pardons were meant to help thousands overcome obstacles to renting a home or finding a job. Similarly, no federal prisoners are eligible for release as a result of Friday's action. So that's that thing. This is not like, oh, boom, doors are open, chains are broken, and people are out. But at the end of the day, it does go to like show and add like what a burden it can be once you have gone through the prison system, just period, for something like a marijuana conviction. It really does up in your life. It really does change your shit for a second, and you have to like scramble to get shit back, and it doesn't just fucking go away. So these kind of changes, these kind of pardons, these kind of things are good. I hope that we see in, the year 2024, I don't know, fingers crossed, we see a world where the federal law changes and it's no longer a Schedule 1 drug. You know what I mean? Let's bump that shit down to like Schedule 3, some fucking shit like that. You feel me? So yeah, I feel like I've gone a little bit long in the tooth. I know it's been a ragged and wild episode. It sure fucking has. Gosh, if you've made it to the end of this, you're a real one. You're the best. I love ya. I'm giving you pre-kisses. You're better than gold. Thank you so much. Let's see here. I do have a Patreon. I got a shill. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. If you'd like to support financially, you can. That's the Patreon. It helps out. I do salute you at the top of the month. All my newsies, they get it. I shout your name out. I plug a project if you'd like. Free ways to hit me up, isaiahnews1@gmail.com. Let's see. I'm on all the socials you're on. I'm now like feeling like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to post this stupid fucking episode. But I love you guys. You guys are great. I do have a YouTube. It would make you greater. It would make you even greater if you subscribe to the YouTube. Make Isaiah great again with that. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Do that whenever listening app you're on. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.